Welcome into the Autzen Audibles Podcast. I'm Matt Preem. On today's show, we've got a special guest from the University of Oregon's football program, Director of Player Development, Osman Kamara. Welcome to the show. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. Appreciate you having me, Matt. It's a pleasure.
So, real quick, spring ball is over. What's like the biggest change to your life once spring ball is over for you guys?
I mean, honestly, in this business, it's always a grind. Never taking our foot off the gas, and so we're in the recruiting process right now. Having some unofficial visitors, prepping for the June official visitor cycle. Really, just getting our guys, prepared for life. That really never stops. May is a big month for our player development department, doing a lot of workshops, a big career event. May 17th, we'll have some big names in town, some former Ducks that are doing well in the professional realm in corporate America or the entrepreneurship realm of life. And so that's really good, really big for us. And we're really looking forward to that. Like I said, May 17th.
For sure. I always like to start things off kind of with a question about yourself. What's your why? Why are you in this role? What led to you to getting here?
Yeah, I mean, I'm a former student athlete at this level myself, originally from Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. Played football really since I was the age of 5, all the way up to playing at West Virginia University for 5 years, from 2016 to 21. So really, my experience, my experience, my perspective on the game of football at this level, seeing other people do it the right way. Some people not do it not do it the right way, not to make the most of the resources or the opportunity that they have. That's really my why. Allowing these guys to think past the surface level of them being leaders amongst their peers or them being great at football, but allowing them to know that they are a part of the 1% and they should carry themselves like that in all facets of life. And
For sure.
At a place like this, we have the resources to do it and the people that we can expose them to. And so that's I mean, it's not always about what you know, but who you come in contact with. And so that's what we do on a day-to-day basis, try to put our guys in front of the best of the best.
100%. You talked about it. You started your career at West Virginia. You were originally a walk-on, and then you earned your scholarship. You also won the Tom Nikolic Award, which I guess for West Virginia is given out to the most outstanding walk-on. What was that experience like of winning that award and winning that scholarship, and just how gratifying was that? What was that experience like for you?
Yeah, it was great. It was humbling. The work wasn't never done. It's still not done, but it was definitely. I was definitely grateful and still grateful to get that opportunity. I was put on scholarship actually twice.
Really?
Once after my sophomore year, really didn't play up to par to where the staff thought I was going. Was dealing with some injuries. Actually had to get surgery, then taken off scholarship. So you can imagine the adversity or
Yeah.
the mental aspect of things and how it was heavy on me at that time. But being able to overcome that and get put back on scholarship for the rest of my career, end up getting an MBA degree out of it. It's great. I get to use that experience and pour into these young men here, and even our coaches and staff that we have. I'm blessed to have a unique perspective on life, and I'm a God-fearing man. I think it all comes from Him, and definitely blessed to work through that adversity, earn a scholarship, get a great education, and have a lot of stories to tell about my playing career.
You touched on it just briefly there, but I wanted to ask you just kind of like how valuable for you is it? You can relate to the walk-ons that are here at Oregon. You can relate to the scholarship guys at Oregon. You can relate to the guys that have gone through injuries. Like how much of that past for you do you use now today with whether it's on field or off field roles type stuff?
Yeah, I mean, really, I just try to be as authentic and um, genuine as I can be. I always shoot our guys straight. I always tell them what it is. I use different stories, like I said, my own experiences as a student athlete, my own life situation that I've been able to overcome. I bring that into play, but always just being real with the guys. Don't lie to them. Building trust in them, building that relationship to where they know that you have their best interests at heart, and all you're trying to do is make them successful. I go to my wits end to make sure that these guys have everything that they need. All I ask is for them to meet me halfway, and we're definitely blessed to have a great group of young men, mature young men that have desire to be successful at a high level. And so when they're able to meet me halfway, good things are going to happen, and we're cooking here for sure on Eugene.
How did you get to Oregon? Because you grew up on the East Coast. You went to school on the East Coast, and now you're on the West Coast. Very shortly after your college career, like, can you walk us through your process of just getting here?
Yeah, I mean, I told my folks, I had to go as far as possible because I can always move closer as I start getting older. But really, I think it was just the work that we were doing at West Virginia. Coach Neil Brown gave me a great opportunity to step into a leadership role shortly after I was done playing. Was able to earn that trust of that staff and develop those student athletes, make sure that they're prepared for life after football, and making sure that they're navigating this process through college athletics the right way. And Oregon, I guess saw what we were doing. We've had several speakers, several guests that come through our program that go out to other programs, and I wouldn't be surprised if somebody probably just dropped my name and they're trying to amplify or enhance their student athlete development department here at Oregon. And I passed the test, I guess, and it's been great. I'm grateful to work for a guy like Dan Lanning. I try to represent myself as him, the genuine, passionate, high work ethic individual that wants success and is going to do everything that it takes to be successful. And so definitely grateful for him and this opportunity to grow. I'm 26 years old, never lived on the West Coast, really been on the West Coast maybe 3 times in my whole life before moving here. And so it was a stretch. It was a stretch, and I definitely had to come into my own and really find myself. But, you have to be uncomfortable being uncomfortable. And so that's how you grow. That's what we pour into our guys. And so I lived it, and I can talk the talk and walk the walk.
So what's life? What have you been able to do out here? You've been here for a while now. Have you had? I know you guys don't get a lot of downtime, but when you do get it, like, have you been able to explore what's kind of surprised you with whether it's here in Eugene or just being out here in Oregon that you just never really anticipated?
Yeah, I mean, I kind of had the same perspective as I did going to West Virginia. There's a lot of things that I probably wouldn't do or would have done if I didn't go to West Virginia or if I didn't come out here to Oregon. So just taking it for what it is and appreciating, the wildlife, nature. We have a lot of nice vineyards out here. The wine is awesome. Been able to go down to Bend and Sisters, see that nature, wildlife, go karting, golfing a couple times last summer. Hope to do the same this summer. It's always cool when you get out there with the alumni or the donors, people that care about our program, and just, rub shoulders with them and see what their journey was and really just learn about the space, learn about Oregon, and just have a respect for it. You got the sand dunes out there in Florence or the Florence area, and then the coast. And so just trying to make the most of this opportunity, and we'll see where life takes me.
The makeup of a football staff has drastically changed from where it was probably when you were just joining the college ranks.
Yeah.
The number of people that work on staff is significantly higher than what it was 5, 6, 7 years ago. And, I think I probably have a good sense of what a director of player development is, but the average fan probably doesn't. Could you maybe just give us a backstory on just the overall position? And because I know it's a lot of it's on the field, but you've talked a lot about stuff as well that people probably don't realize, that you're involved in more than just football in terms of on the field and developing these kids outside of the sport and getting them ready to go into the real world as well.
Yeah. So really the player development boils down to helping these guys. We have 130 guys roughly on our team, on our roster, and helping them, navigate this time in their life. There's going to be a lot of challenges, a lot of ups and downs thrown at them, a lot of questions that they're going to have. And we're here, me and my partners, my colleagues, we're here to be that soundboard, to be that safe space for them to come and ask and be vulnerable. They're expected to be macho men and leaders of their peers at all times, to where they kind of try to hide that they don't know something. They're hidden failures. So we try to be as genuine as possible, let them know that it's okay to not know, that we're all learning and traveling through this thing called life, and we're going to live and we're going to learn. And so from really every aspect of our guys' journey, from the time that they sign that dotted line, getting them all the information that they need for the move-in process, compliance paperwork, making sure they get their physical, housing when they get here, and then just being that, like I said, that guidance for them. We put our guys through 8 weeks of programming we call flight school. So we call it flight school. Really, it's programming just to get these guys on the right track. Give them a foundation of what's going to be advantageous for you to do as a Division I student athlete, or be aware of as a Division I student athlete, mainly for our freshmen. Nowadays we're getting a lot of these guys that are early enrolling in January, and we're blessed to have another enrollment period in April just because we're on terms. But these are 17, 18-year-old kids that I have, some of them have been in the limelight, some of them haven't. And there's a microscope over their life, and everything that they're doing is amplified. And so we try to put some nice parameters and bearings around them and some structure around them that they're prepared for all that. Financial literacy is all in there.
Yeah.
And all of our guys get that. We bring in speakers. We'll do programming ourselves. We'll do workshops, talk about media interviews, job interviews, financial literacy, branding. What's the agent and player relationship supposed to be like? How do you vet an agent? Mental health is a big thing. Mindfulness. How are you playing the game before the game? And then you talk about community service. Last year we did about 1,100 hours of community service. Had
Wow.
an economic impact score of $35,000 back into the community of Eugene. And so really trying to hit every facet of these guys' life. We're firm believers that the better character individuals that we have, that's all going to translate over to the field. They're going to be disciplined. They're going to be accountable. They're going to be tough, both mentally and physical. How you do anything is how you do everything. And so just trying to train the pro. And we know that a lot of these guys, like, they're not looking at the corporate America side. But in the NFL ranks, it's a business, and there's a standard that you have to uphold. And so ultimately, we're just trying to build the best pros, the best professionals as possible.
You touched on agents and NIL and financial literacy. I'm curious, how much has that become a growing focus for you guys? Because there's a lot of people out there that try and present themselves as agent gurus or NIL gurus or what have you. How much is NIL factored into that, making sure you guys don't get put into tough situations?
Yeah, I mean, we don't necessarily get in the weeds of all their business and knowing what they're making or the deals that they're doing, but we just try to give them some guidance. What to look for, what kind of questions you should ask. And I always tell our guys they should be the leader of their ship at all times. You should never have somebody else telling you where your money's going or how you're going to operate or things of that nature. You should be educated enough to be able to walk on your 10 toes and to be able to navigate the scene, but also have somebody in your corner as a resource that can help you out and help you navigate this process, but never being taken advantage of. And so definitely want to make sure that we're putting our guys in front of the right people, giving them the right education. But ultimately it comes down to trying to help them be self-sufficient.
As someone like yourself who you haven't been at Oregon for a long time, you've been here for over a year, but I'm curious, like, how did you develop quickly the networking to bring in former players or former alumni? Like, who do you lean on to bring in these people and talk to your guys? Like, how does that connection work?
I mean, really, this transition process is very, very smooth. This is my first, transition into another job, and so I was kind of wary about it. Didn't really know what to expect, how things were going to go. But the people in this organization are special, and the connection that we have is unlike a lot of places in the country. And just being able to lean on like my peers, people that have been here for a while. Matt Neuer is the first person that comes to my mind, our operations director. Very, very connected in the community from here to Portland, all over the state of Oregon, and being able to put me in contact with the right people that have walked through these guys' shoes. But ultimately, it comes down to the head coach. The head coach giving me the liberty to have my hands in pretty much every department of our organization and helping our guys, and being able to lean on donors, go to certain events to allow people to know what player development is and what we're doing here at Oregon, and to be different and what makes our Ducks different. And so really just the people around me in this organization is what makes us go, what makes us special. And it allows us as player development to put the best of the best in front of our guys.
You kind of touched on a little bit of the community service, but you guys started the Ducks Do More initiative within this program. Can you get a little backstory of just how that started, what you guys do, and why you find it so valuable for your athletes to participate in?
Yeah, I mean, you got some alliteration there. Ducks do more. It always sounds good, from a marketing standpoint. But but we do. You always got to do more. We have the best fans in the country. We pack out Autzen Stadium every time we're there, and so we want to do our best, do our due diligence, and giving back to the people that give to us all the time. And so we both know that O travels well, and so we have a standard that we have to upkeep, and a lot of people that care about us. And I mean, these guys have all been in a lot of these people in the community shoes. That is them playing for the O, them having that O on their chest doesn't make them any different. They just get to walk life a little bit different. But and also is a humbling experience for our guys, giving them perspective,
Right.
allows them to know how life really is. Sometimes things they're catered to because they've earned it and they've earned it and they work hard for what they have. But kind of coming down to reality once in a while helps you be successful and keeps having that chip on your shoulder to always chase after something.
We've seen some of these sit down videos that you guys do on social platforms. You've talked about a wide range of topics on them. I think some of the more popular ones were the Black History Month ones that you guys released. I'm just curious, like, where did that idea come from of doing these real talks with athletes and putting them on socials and sharing them, telling these athlete stories? Why is it important for these also to be done and to be shared as well?
I think it's important for fans and for the people to see who these guys really are. Not that the helmet doesn't define them, the shoulder pads don't define them, the jersey doesn't define them. Giving these guys the spotlight and the platform to articulate themselves on how they feel about matters that are outside the game of football, I think is essential. Just really just broadcasting their abilities and allowing people to see them outside the realm of just a football player.
Sure.
They're more than athletes. They have things other intangibles to bring to the table. And so I think it's my job. We have the responsibility of broadcasting that and making our guys feel uncomfortable. Again, these are 18 to 23-year-old guys that not necessarily have a profession in public speaking, but the more you do it, the better you get at it. And so pushing them out of their comfort zone to be a professional, be it in front of the camera, in front of the spotlight, that's our job, and we force our guys to step out of their comfort zone and do things on a day-to-day basis that's going to make them better.
You brought up it's recruiting time right now. Spring game was a big weekend for the fan base and the program to kind of open the doors and see what's going on currently, but also it was a big weekend for you guys from a recruiting standpoint. Like, what's your role in the process of the recruiting pipeline or machine for Oregon football, and how does that factor in, you feel like?
Yeah, I mean, Coach Lanning, like I said, he's a different cat, and I think that's what makes him great. Thinks outside the box. Doesn't limit our recruiting to just our recruiting staff and our 10 on-field coaches. Obviously they're the ones that are going to do a lot of the heavy work, a lot of the heavy lifting. But say myself as an operations person or an administrator, I have a relationship with the kid, or I come in contact with somebody that has a relationship with a prospect that could really help us. I can bring them to the table. And then when they get here, for everybody, myself, my colleagues, we sit down with the parents, we sit down with the kids, and we have genuine relationship or genuine conversation.
Right.
Sometimes it's a slide deck that we're going through, pinpointing, giving some visuals on the work that we do. But ultimately, we want to leave that conversation or that time together with that family, with them knowing that there's gonna be a team of people that are there for their son. We call it the village. There's a lot of support staff in our organization, and we're here to help our guys be successful in every facet, and letting them know that and feel comfortable that there's people here at Oregon that have their best interests on and off the field. I really don't necessarily talk a lot about what we do from an on-field standpoint in our meetings. I want the parents to know that, I mean, that's all covered. Our coaching staff, they do an elite job of presenting all of their stuff. I want the parents to have a different perspective of our program when they leave our meeting, to where they really feel comfortable that their kid has no choice but to be successful. Like he literally has to try not to be successful in our program, because it's literally just going to be forced to him. And the people that he's going to be surrounding himself with are the elite. And the people that you surround yourself with, more often than not, you end up being those type of people. And so just make it, like, again, comfortability. The relationship piece is big. Generating that relationship, and then the more times they come on the visit, the better relationship that we have, and the more in-depth conversations that we can have, the more we can get to know the parents, and the more I can get to know how the kid grew up in his life situations and all that stuff, that the better I can pour into him. The better I can develop him, the more I can care about him and have that great relationship with him.
What do you find like the most gratifying about your job? What do you like most about it?
I mean, I tell people all the time I live 130 different lives. We got 130 different guys on the team, and so just walking through life, seeing some, people start at different places in life, and just being able to see maybe a young guy that had some rough patches in the beginning. That's another part of our job. These are 18 to 23-year-old guys, so they make some mistakes, we're there to help them through that. Guy gets in an accident, we're there to help them through that process. How do you get in contact with your insurance and everything like that? How do you talk to the tow truck guy? What do you say to the police? All those types of things. And so just being able to walk guys through that process, watch them work at their craft on a daily basis. Be there. Sometimes I hop in the workout. Sometimes I let the guys know that I haven't lost it yet. Uh, they'll challenge me too. So, but just building that relationship with those guys and seeing the maturation process is really what's rewarding for me. And all the situations that they go throughout this process. Like I said, we're here to help them navigate everything. And so their stress is my stress. And so I take it very, very seriously when one of our guys is dealing with something, or if there's a question to ask, I'm going to go. If I don't know it, I'm going to go find it as soon as possible.
We always hear about how spring football, it's the time for players to kind of enhance their tools, their tool set as much as they possibly can, because there's no games really to prepare for. Feels like from an outsider's perspective, these next couple months for you guys are kind of like a really important opportunity for players to really hone in on things outside of football. Obviously, they're going to have to be doing their off-season training and their workouts and stuff. But you talked about the career fair and some of these other big meetings. Kind of like, what's the next couple months going to be like for the athletes as they're giving some opportunities for outside of football events?
Yeah. So the big one, like I said at the beginning of the call, is the May 17th Discover You event, Get Real Discover You Part 2. Doing that again this year, and then we're doing a July community service event. We're partnering with Sleep in Heavenly Peace again, a nonprofit here in Eugene. It's really all around the country, but they have a chapter here in Eugene that we partner with that will be creating or building beds for kids in need. We did this last year where we built about 200 to 250 beds, and we were able to deliver them later on in the year. And so we hope to at least hit that 200, 250 mark, but even our goal is to hit 300. And then after that, we have some other workshops that we'll be doing from a professional, a public speaking standpoint. We're doing a public speaking workshop, and then we're also going to do a professional attire workshop. What's the difference between casual, business casual, formal, all those things. And also backtracking to the May 17th event, our guys are going to be dressed to the nine. They're going to be dressed in business casual to present themselves as professionals. And so really all the life skills, that's what we're trying to develop. These guys don't have a lot of time to develop those skills and have those life experiences. And so we try to bring it to them and meet them where they are.
I guess the last question I got for you is there any way the community can get involved with you guys, or how is there any way that for the Ducks do more stuff? Like if there was anyone interested, like is there a way for you guys to get in touch? Like how would people do that?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, community service is huge for our program. As you can see, the metrics don't lie.
Yeah,
take it very seriously, and the more opportunities that come to us, we'd rather have to sadly say no to some people than to be out there scavenging. And we know that there's needs to be met, and we'd like to meet you where you are and do our best to help out in any situation. Ducks really do more, and we take it very, very seriously of being active in the community and giving back to those around us. And so from that standpoint, and then any professionals, if you'd like to devote your time to developing our Ducks from a professional standpoint and giving your experience, your 2 cents on how to be successful in your realm of professionalism, please reach out to us. We're always looking for more partners. We're always looking for more people to add to our network. We actually have an organization that we partner with. Our athletics department has an exterior organization called The Network, and it's made up of about 200 professionals all over the country. Where our main point of attack right now is trying to tackle some of these Big Ten networks. We have all over the country, but trying to adhere to that market as well, because we're going to be having recruits from those areas that maybe one day want to travel back home. And so what partners, what people in their network do they have, familiar faces in their network do they have to be successful or land on their 2 feet when the ball goes flat, as we like to say in our program, when that time comes for them to hang up their cleats. And so if you want to partner with us, if you love the Ducks and you want to help us from a professional standpoint, please join us. We put on these workshops. We have luncheons for our guys. We try to put them in the best attire. We're looking to purchase suits for all of our guys. They don't not a lot of them necessarily know the importance of having a good suit in your closet, but it's important. You know, I was blessed to have it at West Virginia, to where when I left, I had 4 suits ready to go. Job interviews, weddings, whatever you need a suit for, I had it ready to go. So that's one of my goals, to get our guys right and make sure that they're dressed to the nine.
Well, Usman, I really appreciate your time. Good luck the rest of the spring and the summer, and we'll certainly probably hope to catch up with you maybe next season. Thanks a lot for coming on the show.
Yeah, it's been a pleasure, man. Thank you for having me. Love talking to you, and go Ducks.